All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us for another conversation on Tribe Talk Tuesdays. This is episode 4.
I believe so.
It's either episode 4 or 5.
Is it?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I look crazy. I am Kiera, also known as Cookie, the owner of Divinely Her Healing, Elevating, and Renewing.
Yes, y'all. And it's your girl, Nurse Britt, the founder of Empower Women Fitness and Wellness Center, empowering women all over the world.
Yes. And today we have the pleasure of having the special guest, Mr. Shakoor Woodson, join us today.
Thank
you
you.
don't mind introducing yourself, telling the people about you?
Yep, my name is Shakoor Woodson. People call me Mr. Woodson from like social media and things like that. I am a dean of students at a private elementary school in the city of Philadelphia.
Yes. Thank you so much again for joining us today. We like to usually start off with the first question of what does healing look like to you in your own definition?
That's a really good question. Healing to me looks like going through various emotions of doing things that probably aren't healthy for me, doing things that one would like use as a crutch. But now, since I've identified those things, I don't do them no more. Mm-hmm. So now I just hit the rug and pray.
Yes,
Okay. Excellent.
I love that. How would you say that your own definition of healing or your own journey of healing has led you to the work that you do today?
It's funny because I tell people all the time that education found me. When I was in school, I found out I was having a daughter, and I told myself like I didn't want to be like my own dad and I could put school on pause, but I have to like really like go out and like make money and make sure like I take care of my family. Mm-hmm. And throughout like that process, I feel like I realized that once you like put things in perspective, then you'll have a better outlook on them, period. Mm-hmm. So like I said, putting school on pause, I did that, and I started to do what I feel like what the law put me here to do, which is to help people. And that's just really how I don't like my journey in terms of healing hasn't like shaped like my outlook on like my career. It's just I know like Allah doesn't make no mistakes. And the decision that I made with the help of Allah to like put school on pause ultimately got me to be even like sitting here with y'all today.
Okay. That's decent.
What were you in school for?
So I went to school to play basketball,
Okay.
but I was a communications major because I didn't want to take no science classes.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, like science just scared me.
Okay.
That's decent. Did your original, because you said you were in school to play basketball, was your original plan to like go professional?
Yeah, no. Like if it would have came like to that point, then I'd have been like, okay, yeah, like I'm a professional basketball player. But I really just wanted to use basketball as the tool to get me to go to school for free.
Okay.
Because I knew my mom wasn't going to be able to like pay for school.
Okay. That's decent. So after like graduating, how did it come about to like you being in the school setting now?
So once I got into schools, I never left. Like I've
Okay.
been in education for 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I started off as like I got hired through an outside program to a school called the Delta T Group program. They like place you in a school.
Yeah.
And I was working with like this one kindergartner at the beginning, and then I got switched to an emotional support classroom. And in that emotional support classroom, I realized that I had like the ability to like educate and to like teach. And I was just doing like little things that I thought made the difference in the school, like showing kids how to like walk in straight lines and like be like models for like the younger kids like in a lower class than you. Mm-hmm. And then once that school lost its charter though, I had to like find another job. And I started to work in New Jersey at KIPP.
Okay.
And I was like one of the founding staff members of that particular school. It was like 12 of us and our 100 fifth graders. Wow. And throughout like that process, I just was again like trying to like learn like all of the things that I wanted to like have in my toolbox, because I'm a learner. Like I thought like if I had like all of these things, like I wasn't going to be able to be like disposable. So I just was like going to like PDs about like ELA, and I'm not an ELA teacher. I was going to PDs about math, and I'm not a math teacher. But I just wanted to have all of this stuff like in my repertoire, so that way if the time ever like came where like I need to do those things, like I just knew I had like the toolbox to do it. And yeah. And then after that, I transitioned into being a dean. So I've been a dean for the last 5 to 6 years of my career.
That's decent. That's decent. So hearing that, like you searching for more knowledge or going after more knowledge, that to me that gives like you're putting yourself in a position to be used if ever needed and if ever available. And I think that's very big of people to do, especially in the school systems in Philadelphia and with our children, because that matters.
No, for sure. And it's crazy that you said that about like Philly, because I used to think and tell myself like I'm not giving my city enough, because I worked in Jersey for 7 years. And I'm like, one of my mentors one time told me like, you gotta, don't forget about like your own backyard. And that still sits with me to this day, because it's like I gave those kids in Jersey like my everything. Like for 7 years I was over there, I lived over there, I worked over there, I was like immersed in like the Camden community, and I always would feel like a little weird about it, because I'm like, it's not where I'm from, and I feel like I could give so much more to like the kids in my own city that's like the same that I'm giving to these kids in Camden. So that's crazy that you said that.
That's decent. I really like that though. And the crazy thing is I didn't even know you were a dean of students. I thought you were an actual teacher. Because of how you interact with the kids. And you're always in the classroom with the kids too. So how do you feel? Because I know for them, and I can see with the interaction that they have with you, you're a role model to them. They really look up to you and revere what you do. So how does your position like with them make you feel?
It makes me feel good. And I tell people all the time that ask me about like what makes you different than like all the other teachers that are like making content on social media and stuff. And I feel like one of the biggest things that I do is bring people into my classroom. So I have an iReady block that I do with all the kids. Well, all the classes, all the grades. And that's why like when I make videos, I'm in like a classroom setting besides when I'm in aftercare. But in that particular block, we get on a online platform that just helps you move in different strands of like whatever you're working on, whether it's ELA or math stuff. And that platform like gives you a pathway to like just continue to grow and like get more knowledge. So during that time, I bring like people into my classroom and just help the kids like build perspective and to get them to see that like school could be fun. Like I want my kids to run to school. I don't want them to like not want to come to school. Because I feel like if I had a teacher like what I'm trying to be to my kids, I would want to be in school more. I would have probably been better off, to be honest, because I didn't really enjoy school that much. I was just always talking. I was always getting in trouble, doing like weird stuff to get attention. And I feel like I want to make sure my kids get a lot of attention, even like from like my supporters. Like when they give me stuff, when they send stuff to the P.O. box or whatever, I make sure like my kids benefit from it like all the time. It's not for me, it's for them.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I definitely do differently. And it makes me feel good to see them happy to want to run to school. Like when my kids miss a day, they're like upset that they missed a day. Like they tell their moms, like their moms tell me like, yo, he was crying. He was like, he wanted to come to school. Like he didn't want to miss something. Like my kids never know what's going to happen. Like I never tell them like, yo, we about to have like this person or this particular thing's about to happen. So I think that builds like another like element of like, yo, I need to come to school. Because attendance is also like wildly important to me too. Because if you're not there, you're not learning.
Right.
So.
Right.
I think that plays a big role. Not only that, but like, you know, our children are in school, and I used to say this all the time, like the school system or like the teachers or anybody that works in this, you know, the school setting, they're raising our children. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a big thing for me
right,
too.
They're raising our children, like they're with our children 8 hours of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's exactly what I say.
Yeah, like
you got to think about it. They're sleep for what an average kid's supposed to be sleep for like 8 hours.
Right.
They with the teachers for another 8 hours. That's 16 hours of the day.
By the time they come home with us, it's like, okay, you only got 2 or 3 hours,
right?
And we about to start this all over again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
big.
It is big. It's major, and I guess we're super grateful to have people like you in our school setting because my daughter's homeschooled, so
yeah.
But you know what I mean. But her elementary school was definitely, you know, they definitely played a lot. You know, it was a village. You know what I mean. And I really appreciate that. So, but yeah, it's just we need more teachers and dean and people that just take pride and just want to pour into the children. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's just like, y'all raising our children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 8 hours in a day. So, you know. But yeah.
You don't work with high school children, do you?
I used to.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually work with the entire spectrum from like kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. I've worked with.
Okay. But I think is where you're at now is definitely important because the earlier years is so much more that you can, not that you can't impact them later on in their preteen years, but the earlier years are very helpful because that sticks with them going into, you know, their adult years. And they're never going to forget it. I always remember my elementary teachers, the ones that stuck out to me the most, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I still remember one of my elementary school teachers, Miss Carter. And it's crazy that she was my 5th grade teacher for the entire year because my original teacher was having a baby.
Oh, wow.
And she was like our sub for the whole year. And I still would like talk about Miss Carter.
That's decent.
So do you do stuff outside of like the school setting for like the children and the community or?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
so
what?
one of the things that I just did. So I did like a little partnership with the Sixers, and we took Milo. If y'all know, y'all know Milo.
That's
yeah,
one of my favorite students.
Okay.
Yeah, I took Milo to the Sixers game, the last regular season game. I also run a summer league with my other 5 brothers. It's called the Lana Young Summer League.
Okay.
And we have a community day. Our league is really for that. Like a lot of people think like it's just like to build like camaraderie between like the basketball community and all that. And yeah, it's for that. But we really put the production together for our community day at the end of the summer. And it's where we have like bouncy houses, game trucks, like free food for our community, book bag, back to school drives and stuff like that.
Okay. Did y'all play in the game against Lil when he did the GVI basketball game, the 3-on-3?
Oh no, so we are actually a part of that this year.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, we are part of that this year.
All right, okay.
But yeah, I do a lot of stuff for my community because, like I said, like I felt like I was giving too much to like kids that aren't in my backyard.
Right.
So now I just do everything in my power to pour into the youth in Philly because, like how we all know, they need it. They need it.
Pretty much.
That's really decent.
Yeah.
And I think that that's value too, because with a lot of the things that we see that's going on in the city today, these kids can be impacted by it, whether they're directly living it or they just experience it and they're surrounded by it. So having somebody like you, especially a Black male in the system that's able to be able to relate to them, you know, especially if they're going through something, they can confide in you about that too.
And that's the biggest thing I want people to like realize. It's the relatability that makes it that much better for kids. Because to be honest, like kids aren't going to learn from nobody that they don't want to learn from, that they don't respect, nor that they don't like. So if I could have a conversation with you about the struggles that you are dealing with, that I've also dealt with, it'll make you that much more comfortable. It'll make you that much more willing to like be open to talk about and to learn about things that I'm trying to give you.
Right.
And I'm a disruptor. So like I'm never going to shy away from the fact that like I think like it should be more Black men in our schools and not like people that don't look like us.
Right.
Like I'm a firm advocate and believer of that. Like we should be educating ourselves. Like all of the stuff that I learned, I should be teaching like the next generation. Yes. And so on and so on. Like what's learned should be taught.
And given away for free. Definitely.
Yeah.
Free game.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you really realize the impact that you do have on the children now?
So I don't want to.
Okay.
Why?
Because I think it's like a thing for me where I don't do it for that.
Okay.
I do it because I generally care about kids that look like me. I generally care about people that look like me. So I don't want it to feel like I don't want nobody to look at me like a superhero or like Superman. Like no, like this is what the law put me here to do. I know that for a fact because all I do is help people. I've been a camp counselor since I was 14. Like I've been working with like helping people. Like I was a home health aide before.
Really?
Like yeah, like
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay.
So like all of my jobs were just like to help people. And now like again, like if I couldn't make money doing this, I still would do this.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't get into education to get rich.
Right.
No, you don't know rich teacher. And I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for like the followers on Instagram or TikTok. Like I'm not doing it for those things. So I don't want to look at it in like, yo, you have such this huge impact. No, I just look at it like I have to be here.
Right. And I only asked that question because I seen a video recently where you kind of like, you played a joke on them and you told them that it was like your last day.
Yeah.
And they were really hurt.
Yeah.
They were really
It was an uproar. Classroom was an uproar.
No, yeah, I know they love me and I love them.
Yeah.
But I don't want to look at it like no other way.
Understood. That's understood. I received
So
that.
I have a question, right? So dealing with the youth, right, and especially with everything that's going on in our cities and the community, just all over the world, I think, you know what I'm saying, with the youth, or just generation in general. Do you see, like, what is, like, the dynamics of, like, the parent support? Because it's like I ran a girls group. I do a lot of women empowerment, like,
Absolutely.
right? But I actually did this first session with the youth girls, which is not my lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, the adult women is my lane. And during this 6-week session with them, I've learned so much of, like, the home life is a challenge. You know what I'm saying? That parent and child, you know what I mean? Or a lot of times they're in a foster care, they're in placement, they're somewhere else. So I'm like, what is and it brought me present to, like, number one, the higher rate of homelessness amongst our youth, right? Which I didn't, like, know, you know what I mean? So, like, maybe, like, this year or the end of last year to this year. So I, like, it's like, where do you, like, do you have a lot of, like, parent support? Or is it kind of like that battle?
It's mixed because, again, in elementary schools, the amount of black males that work in, like, that arena is less than 1%. Black males make up less than 2% of the teacher force in its entirety. So, you know how, like, just our people, when we don't understand something, we try to push back on it as much as we can until something happens for us to realize or understand it. So it's been times where I've had parents say, like, reckless things to me, like just off the wall stuff, even teachers. And it's like, you just don't understand, like, you don't know. So I don't, like, be too mad about it. It's just like I charge it to, like, you not understanding. I just charge it to you being a little ignorant in the moment.
Yeah.
But there's also some parents that are, like, really, like, true champions of mine that be like, yo, don't stop. That be like, my son is truly benefiting from this relationship that you got with him. My daughter looks at you like a father figure. Like, those things are another reason as to why I keep going, though. Because I'm telling you, like, some of the stuff that I've, like, that has been said to me, some of the stuff that has been done, would, like, the average person probably would have been like, yeah, I'm not doing this no more. But, like, no. Like I said, I'm a disruptor. Like, when you tell me, like, you don't want me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go right and do it. And then I'm going to show you and I'm going to tell you that I did it.
Period. I like that.
No, that's not a good thing, though. Okay.
That's a period. Like, no, I like
it. Can be though. It can be.
I like that, though, because I can see that and I understand what you mean, only because my son is in a charter school. He's in 7th grade. And I've had teachers tell me before, like, I tell them, you can call me at any time. It doesn't matter to me. Like, because if it's about my son, I need to handle it. But I've had teachers tell me before, like, you're one of the only parents, you know, that'll answer the phone for us. Some parents will be like, well, he's with you. They see it as that's your problem. You handle it while, you know.
And I also understand that, but I definitely, if you had to ask me, like, which, like, side of the coin I'm on, like, I wouldn't, like, say, like, that's appropriate. I think, like, I understand it for sure.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
definitely inappropriate.
Yeah, but I think that, I don't think that's appropriate. Like, no, we're all in tandem trying to figure this out.
Right.
It's not just as my job.
Exactly.
It's not just your job.
Exactly.
Because kids have to go to school. Like, that's mandatory. Like, if you don't send your kid to school, you could go to jail.
Exactly.
So it's like, we have to figure this out. We have to figure this relationship out. And I tell people all the time, it's a triangle: teacher, family, and student. Though.
Yes.
Like, we have to get them to realize that this is important. And again, I'm not saying you got to go to college or none of that stuff, because there's a lot of millionaires who don't got a college degree. But at the same time, throughout the kindergarten through 12th, you need to learn these basic things. And like I said, I'm a disruptor. Like, I try to teach my kids things that, like, we not teaching in school. Like, the manners stuff that I, like, really hit on with my kids, like, the most. You got to say please and thank you. You have to. Like, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
And especially because the people that don't look like us, they respond all the time with, like, what? They respond with, like, not saying excuse me and, like, being polite and things like that. Yeah, like, that's just so, like,
that's a major
that's
one.
like, that's just not rude. That's nasty. Like, that's nasty behavior for you to not say excuse me.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
So I hit on those particular things all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, really, like, a stickler about it. Like, if I give a kid something and they don't say thank you, I'm taking it back. Because why do I have to remind you to have manners?
Yeah.
That's just, I just think that's nasty behavior.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? That's something that I think that we strayed away from too. And not only like manners, etiquettes, but just like getting our youth to understand that there's rules that need to be followed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though, like you said, like, you're disruptive, but there's rules.
Yeah.
They just need to be followed. Like, it's just certain things where it's just like, yo, listen, it just has to be done this way, or you have to follow it so it can just be done. You know what I mean? Like, we were driving, like, my daughter just got her permit, y'all, shout out to her. But
that's tough.
I know, right? And she was like, Mom, like, they're just, like, he's just turning with no turn signal. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because we live in a world where people feel as though that the rules don't apply to them, or they don't have to apply the rule, that they could just do whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I think that's where a lot of the stuff that's in the city is going on, not only with our youth, but in adults. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like we just live in this era right now where it's like, I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta answer the
But at the same time, though, like, I'm not a huge advocate of the status quo either, though. Like, I don't, like, who told us that these particular things have to be this particular way? Not with everything.
right.
Not with everything. But I'm definitely a huge disruptor of, like, again, the status quo.
Right.
Too.
I agree. I agree.
I like that.
And it's like, well, like, an example is like some, like, so, like, small things is like having to come, like, what is the definition of professional? Like, a lot of these things are, like, rooted in racism, and, like, they're trying to keep us in a particular pocket.
Right.
That's why I don't go to school in a suit and tie. Because there's no studies or there's no data that proves that kids will learn more if I dress this particular way.
Right.
I want them to look and see themselves and me and be like, yo, you could be successful and still be fly, so to speak, to you, like, to whoever, how you like it.
Right. I think that's dope. I really think that's dope.
You don't like that.
I do like that. No.
She be making it face.
I'm not saying that. You know, it's like I'm used to, like, my dad was like 67 right before he passed away. And my dad still, like, even though retired, got up, ironed his pants, you know what I'm saying? Ironed his shirt, you know what I'm saying? Like, had his shirt tucked in with his belt. And you're right. Like, and I definitely agree with you that, like, who made the definition of, like, what is professionalism, right? But I do believe that image is something that, like, I don't know, I forget what school is, like, I think, like, the first day of school, like, it's like 100 black men dress up and kids. Like, you get what I'm saying? I think that, to me,
Yeah, I like those things.
you know what I mean? Like showing them, and yes, you can still look fly and still be a millionaire, but I'm like, they need to know what a suit and tie is.
Yeah.
They need to know, like, what does even casual looks like, because everybody is in Under Armour joggers with a, you know what I'm saying? Like, including my daughter, she's one of them. Like, you know, she's like, I'm like, everybody looks the same. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, what happened to grooming? What happens to, you know what I mean? Like, those
Type of things.
Yeah,
I get
that's
what you're
like,
saying.
you know what I mean? That's influence. And nobody said that you have to. Like, and it's crazy because when you said that, it went straight to, my mind went straight to Eric Thomas. You know who Eric Thomas is?
Eric Thomas.
He's a motivational speaker.
E.T. the hip hop preacher.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
He had to show you.
So I know, right? And now, we gotta tap it today because he's very, very on the emotional intelligence side. Weird. But so Eric Thomas is, like you said, the hip hop preacher, but he does not. He preaches at church with, like, a t-shirt and some joggers. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Jordans.
That's how he even presents his stuff. Like when he goes to like, you know, when they fly him out to like wherever, you know what I mean, to be a motivational speaker. Like, but that's what he wears. You get what I'm saying? So I just think that we gotta have some type of like structure.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing.
No, I get it. But Eric Thomas did touch on that same thing because he was trying to show people like what you said, basically, like I get money to fly out and speak to football teams, big
like
name brand companies like this. And he's like, it's already in the contract that if I gotta change how I look and who I am, then I'm not going. You know?
Yeah.
So I respect that. I do respect that. One of the things that I really like that you touch on, and this is how I actually came across you a few years ago, is that you...
A few years ago?
Yeah. I want to say it was like a few years ago. Before I knew that you were like a teacher, is that you talk about your mental health.
Yeah.
You're very transparent about that.
Yeah.
And I like that because you always talked about... And one of our last episodes that aired this past week is that being a thing for Black men.
Yeah.
To be able to touch on things like that and being more comfortable, even having conversations amongst other Black men and being comfortable about it. What for you made you like comfortable to be able to be transparent with social media about your experiences?
So it goes back to like the idea of like whenever I do something, like I don't want to do it like nobody else. Like I don't want to do it like nobody else. Like that's why I started to bring people in my classroom, because I don't see nobody doing it, like not one person. And I was married a few times, but in my first marriage, I told myself that I'm going to like tap into like my emotions and try to be like the best man, husband, father that I can be. And
seriously, that's
for real.
Right, yeah.
And then once it was like over, I had to find an outlet to just like talk about like what I'm going through. And like again, like my homies, they don't understand their emotions. Like we are a group of friends. My group of friends are a group that has gotten better with that. But when I started to like start figuring it out, like nobody was like a person that I could call and be like, yo bro, I need to cry real quick. And
that's heavy.
Yeah. I always knew though I could lean on my mom for that. Like Umi is my is my biggest mental health advocate, like of like all time.
She don't play about y'all
at all. But like I could just call my mom and let her know like, yo, I'm really having a rough time. And once things in my life started to shift, I'm like, yo, I don't know how to deal with these Jones. Like I said, I resorted to things that like weren't good for me. And I talked about like having like a therapist or like want to go through a therapist, but my little brother, he has saved my life on multiple occasions. And one time I was talking to him like, yo, I think I need to find a therapist. And he said to me straight up like, bro, you don't need to find no therapist. Like it's not like a lot of Muslim therapists, and it's not a lot of people that's going to resonate with like who you are as a person. Just pray, bro. And that was one of the times where he told me to pray, and then where it was like I had to shift like a lot of different things. And now that I have like this community on social media, it's like, again, I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be somebody who y'all just think is like all like cool. Like it's not always all cool, but it's not always all bad either. So I want y'all to know when I'm having a rough time, because a comment might strike me different today than it does tomorrow. Or I might not post videos for like 2 months, and I don't want y'all to be like, yo, just saying like random and wild things. Right. Just know that like people go through things. Like we're real human beings. It don't matter how many followers you got. Like everybody behind those pages are real life people.
Yeah.
Even if it's a fake page, that's a real person.
Right.
That's a real person, and they have real emotions. And I just felt as though it's not a lot of black men doing it. So why not try it? And once I did it, I just got like a really good response. And I'm like, this makes me feel good. And I try to lean on things that make me feel good.
That's dope. I like that because, like I said, you don't really see too many black men speaking about it, touching on it, or like even. I don't want to say running to social media because, like, I hear people be like, "You shouldn't put."
I used to think people was weird that did that.
Yeah, no, and I get that too. Like, I've had people tell me like, "You shouldn't be like," but the thing is, it's like how you said being relatable to the kids. That's being relatable to another black man that's going through it and may not know how to express.
Somebody
it to
literally said that to me yesterday. I was leaving a store and he was like, "Bro, you don't know me, but I really appreciate your content." And then before we left, he said even the mental health stuff, and I said, "Yo, that's crazy." Like, people don't generally talk to me about the mental health stuff. They just talk to me about Milo or, like, about Umi. But when somebody bring up the mental health stuff, like, it really makes me feel good. Because it's like, yo, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. And that's something that's just needed also. I think that's something that we just don't tap into. I think just as a people, like, outside of it, just, you know, our black men, you know what I'm saying? I just think that's as a people, as a generation, we're not tapping into it. I think, I don't know. I just feel like we have so many generations of trauma. Like, you know what I'm saying? That we just have to, like, that I don't think that we can ever maybe like unpack, but if we start with ourselves, that it would, you know what I mean? Like, it would it will set the tone. Like, you know what I mean? Because like you said, like, just being able to identify your emotions, then processing them, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, trying to navigate life, you know what I'm saying? Outside of that, I think that's just a whole, like, package within itself that a lot of times that I think as women, we talk more about that than men, you know what I mean? And just to see, you know, our men doing it, it's just like, it's amazing. And then, you're younger than us, so it's just like, you know what I mean? Right. That's always a plus too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, all right, that's dope. Like, you know what I mean? That generation underneath us, it's just like, they're doing the work. You know what I mean? They just doing the work. You know what I mean? So,
but that, it gives me hope though too, because it's like, if someone such as him is starting that, right? And then I'm pretty sure that the kids see you on social media. So then they're like, wow, if Mr. Woodson's doing that, then
they could start it.
Right. And I got a son. So, like, I want my son to be able to, like, let me know, like, when he's going through something. I want him to, like, come to me and, like, start crying if he need to.
Yeah.
That's really decent. And even hearing you say that, that makes me think about the football player that recently took his life this past week.
Oh, yeah.
And his name is Kyron Lacey. He played for LSU.
I'm so out of it. I'm like, I don't
social media, I'm just like...
He a college football player, though, so you probably didn't.
Yeah. And they were saying that he was, like, on his way to be an NFL draft pick. And when his dad had, like, you know, came out and was like, had I just paid attention to, you know, the signs, or him just, you know, the tone of saying I'm okay and not realizing like he really wasn't okay. You saying that right there, that's important, I think, because as Black people, period, we're taught to, or it's thought of that we're just supposed to take on everything and we're just supposed to be okay with it. You know? But it's even more for a Black man that he goes out into the world and takes on so much more from the world instantly, and is instantly judged as being a boy, is seen, or a man, and is seen as a threat. So it's a lot.
No, absolutely. And especially being somebody that has like influence and that like a lot of people know. Like, we all want that, but it really comes with a lot. It comes with a lot. It comes with just constant, like, either like hate or love. And it could be a lot one day and a lot like the other thing another day. So it's like people really go through a lot when they're trying to reach a particular point. And when somebody is like asking you if you okay, just let them know how you truly feeling.
Right.
Like, that's my biggest advice to people. Let them know exactly what you're going through and how you feeling. Because you never know what conversation, what somebody can do to like change or alter that. And it might not also be nothing that they can do to change or alter that, but you letting it go could also always make the difference.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And just being just transparent and vulnerable and honest all the time.
There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable.
It's not. Say it again.
It's really not, though.
It's not. And I think people who are not who are not in tune with that, they view that as a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially black men.
Yes.
Like, you have to be so strong every day.
Yeah, whereas like you
the
don't.
head on the swivel, like who out to get me.
And my whole thing is like, I'm like a firm advocate when like people be like, hey, how you doing today? And if I'm not saying great. Like, I might be like, I'm hanging in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right. You know, like, because at the end of the day, like, you're lying. You know, like, why am I going to sit here and lie and say that I'm great and I'm really not? Like, you know, no, it's caving in. It's caving in, but I'm
I'm holding it together.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, why, you know, we definitely have to, I'm an advocate like that. Definitely be honest, like, of how you feel. Because like you say, you never know, who can impact and who can it can, like, you know what I mean, like
inspire.
Exactly. That's what I'm like. It's crazy. I started this new job, right? And I'm like, this job, first of all, I'm in an office and I'm not used to being like in an office setting, like in a cubicle. Like I'm like isolated. And I'm like, but so it's like me, my girlfriend, which is Diego's girlfriend, and then my psych nurse practitioner, whatever. It's like a couple of us in this whole little thing. And like within like the first month, like everybody has had like a breakdown. Like it was crazy. But it was just like, I'm like, oh my goodness, I could do a women empowerment here. Like, it was so hot. Like, seriously. But it was just like, it just shows you that, yo, like, people really be going through stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we're all at work. All different walks of life. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, this was over here. Like, next, you know, we found through the whole day, afternoon, she busting out crying. And everybody's like hovering over her. Like, you know what I mean? Or this person's hyperventilating because the world is crashing in on her. And plus, we're at work. Like, it was, so I was like, yo, I'm like, the Lord sent me here for a reason, because
absolutely
being behind the cubicle is not my thing, but I'm taking it for what it is, and I did set out a goal. So I reached it. I mean, but when I literally said, I was like, I've never been at a job where everybody has had a moment like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, we're transparent, we're vulnerable, we're honest. And the crazy thing is, we don't really know each other for a long period of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Except for Chi-Chi, I knew her for like, because we used to work somewhere else, but my nurse, the psych doctor. But other than that, like, everybody has had, and I'm just like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, just like, we all can pour it. Well, I don't pour into people, you get my overflow, but we can all, you know, we share from our overflow and share each other's experience and just be there for each other. Yeah. And it just brought me present to just being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being vulnerable and being honest and transparent. You know what I mean? Not oversharing, but, you know, at the same time, just being transparent with people, because, like you say, you never know what they're going through. You never know, like, what you can inspire to them, or what they can inspire, you know, pertaining to you and your growth. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
It's interesting.
So it was. It was like a great. I'm telling you. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, it was like big. Everybody was. I'm like, oh, everybody having breakdowns. I thought I was the only emotional crying baby over here, but no, but yeah. So,
have you ever thought of, with what you do with the kids, and, you know, being able to touch on, like, having the emotional intelligence to touch on your mental health and what you know you need and what you may be lacking on, have you ever thought being, like, starting a group for the kids? Or
yeah, I'm actually about to start a nonprofit.
I
had one, but yeah, I'm about to start another one. Yeah, it's gonna be called the Men's Lab.
Yeah,
I like that.
And we're gonna, like, do a bunch of different things. We're gonna touch on, like, even like hygiene. We're gonna do trips to colleges, a bunch of different stuff.
What's the age limit?
There's no age limit. Well, there's gonna be kids, but, like, it's like from 5 to 18.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that information.
Are you gonna touch into that emotional health with them?
No, hell yeah.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna, like, have, like, conversations like, yo, how was your day?
Okay.
How has your week been? Is there anything on your mind that you want to talk about? And it's going to be like, I really got the idea from, y'all ever seen The Shy? When they was Victor was having, like, all his homies in a circle.
Yes.
And they was just talking about, like, what they had going on, and they're all homies. So it's like, even, like, you could be, like, my best friend, and I don't know that you going through something. Like, I don't want that to be the case, because, like, God forbid, one of my homies didn't feel like they could talk to me or like any one of us about something, and then like they ultimately like take their life or like something goes wrong. Like I don't ever want to like have that feeling. So doing a men's lab is going to be something that also like kids could like tap into, like almost like a little fraternity. And so the men's lab is coming soon.
Oh, look out for that, yo. Yes, and show love because, and it's funny you touched on that scene. I know you haven't seen it yet, but that season and when they did stuff like that, showing that aspect of Black men being able to sit down and everybody, and then when they hearing the other person share, like, I didn't know you was going through that. Like, what? How can we help you? How can we show up for you? I think that's important for us to see in with everything that's going on in this world, with everything else that's on TV. Seeing stuff like that is very important and reminds me of the TV shows like Family Matters or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where they used to have like quality, right? And it's kind of getting back to that with TV shows like that.
Shout out to like the Black people making Black shows.
Yes.
Like Lena White. Like, not only is she like touching on mental health though, but she's also a part of the LGBTQ community, and she's just shedding light on like that particular lifestyle that people are living. It might not be for like me or you, but it's some people's reality. Right. So it's like touching on that, touching on mental health, touching on the inequities in our urban communities. Like all of that stuff is like wildly important for us to see and not just see the negative stuff that we see. Like it's really, I love that show. I can definitely say that's one of the shows where you don't have to expect it. Like you're going to get the reality of what a lot of inner city youth see and experience, but you're also going to get the stories of Black love. You're also going to get the stories of like kids growing up, going to college, having successful careers and being able to grow. Absolutely. So I really appreciate that and I love that.
And I think we need to see that outside of that basketball or outside of football, outside of like, you can be successful. Like, they need to see that, those different examples.
I like
why
that.
I come to work the way I come to work.
I like how you said that in here.
Right? You
That's crazy though. And it's funny because I even like touching on you doing the mental health and even working with other teachers. It's another teacher that I followed that you had did like a segment with as well too. I think it's Teacher Roby.
Yes, one of my best friends.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I love her content as well too. But I love to see just Black teachers, period, interacting with our youth and our children. We've had another teacher on before. He wasn't a teacher, he was a dean at Mastery. So like to hear the experiences and still see like, you know, the statistics are the same basically, but it's seeing y'all in the positions that y'all are in and how you're showing up and that you're trying to change the narrative of what the statistics are to have more people come on board. I love that and I appreciate that.
Yeah, Teacher Roy, that's my dog. They are the reason why I started to make content in this fashion that I do it now, because I used to be. People used to know me to be the dancing dean, where I like just did dances with my kids. I gotta like I gotta re-put some of that stuff out because people really don't know about that stuff. But I was dancing with my kids right before the pandemic started, and once the pandemic started, we wasn't in school or whatever, and like content really wasn't a thing for me because I wasn't like doing like get ready with me's or like at home vlogs. But then once it was over, Teacher Roby, they made a video about if kids had an issue with calling them teacher instead of Mr. or Mrs. because they non-binary. So they made a video about that, and that John got 2 million likes and almost 100,000 comments, and it even got picked up by like Fox News because they were upset that that was being somewhat taught in schools. And I made a video and was like being like an advocate for them. Like, it doesn't really matter how you feel about it. It's all about, again, just building perspective. Like, again, it might not be for me or you,
right?
But this is like the reality in which things are happening around our youth. So getting them ready for it now and helping them understand like this is to come, I feel like it's better than them being surprised or bombarded about it in high school or in college, because you want people to know what to expect. Like, people rarely enjoy surprises in that fashion where it's like, I don't should I understand this? Should I not understand this? Like, people really don't like doing that, I don't think. So after one day they was making like those videos, and then they just kept making videos like that. And then they wasn't in school one day, and I'm like, yo, let me try to make a video real quick. And I made a video, and it got 600,000 views. And I'm like, oh, this is something now that I could add to my content layer. And I've been making content like that ever since. Okay. Ever since.
That's decent.
Just giving directions, showing the relationships between me and my kids, and also the negative sides too. Like, kids get yelled at. Like, I hope y'all don't think like kids don't get yelled at in schools. Like, they get yelled at. And that's the thing.
Definitely be yelling at the kids.
And again, I want them to feel like the relatability. Like, I'm not your dad, but I'm a part of that village. I'm not your big brother, but I'm a part of that village. Yeah. Like, I don't want you to think like you could act a particular way. Like, even like that's what a parent would say. Like, I don't want you to act like this way in school and like you act this way at home. No, be that same kid. Yeah. And you're gonna get similar responses from both parties, because I'm going to treat you the way I would want a teacher to treat my kid, and I'm also going to treat you the way that I know like your parent treats you. Like, y'all curse in front of your kids. Yeah. I don't curse in front of kids in schools, but I'm saying like y'all curse in front of your kids. Y'all yell at your kids. Some people beat their kids. In schools, I want them to feel and understand that everything that you do has a reaction, good or bad. So that's how I go about it for real.
I like that. I want to shout out something real quick, right? Because you're a family person from the content that I see. You include your mother, Umi, and your brother in on like your content, and I love that about you. And I just want to shout out your Umi real quick.
Yeah. Shout out to Umi.
Because how you are, especially with the kids, and just even hearing this conversation, like having this conversation with you right now, it shows like that was an impact in how you were raised and brought up.
Yeah, Umi is a star. I actually want my mom and my little brother to like have like the same trajectory that like I have with like their content and stuff. Like, I do stuff to my mom because I want her to like start getting like booked for things. Like, I want her to like sell stuff and like people like engage and buy it. Same thing with my little brother. I think he's he's the best dad I know. Like, he's a super duper great father. And like, us not having our father in our lives, like, for him to be like such the great father that he is like, it's like heartfelt. Like, I tear up thinking about it sometimes. But my mom, she's a soldier. Like, she's a soldier. Yeah, Mom, I'm talking about you. Because she says sometimes like I don't mention her enough in like some of the stuff that I do, but no, like, she's a true champion. Strong, super deep into her faith. Like, my mom is like, don't ever record me without my hijab on. Don't, like, she's like super. I pray that she gets Jennifer Dose. Like, she's a super duper good human being to me, and I love her to death. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I could tell that y'all all have like a good close relationship. Yeah. It was one video I recently seen that you guys pranked her. Yeah. And made her think that the cops was after your brother.
Oh my God, yeah. She's silly. Like, she had her glasses next to her, and I'm like, Mom, like, you're an actor for sure.
I thought she was really crying though, for real.
No, she really was crying.
Oh wow.
So what was it? Because I'm not on social media, so I'm sorry you're so bad.
Oh yeah, so like, you know, like, some people do this prank where they like call home and they tell whoever's their mom, grandmom, dad that the cops are following you.
Okay.
And the only way I get out of a ticket, or the only way I don't go to jail, is if like you're in distress, because that's why I either like ran a light, ran a stop sign, or something like that. Okay. So we called my mom. And the dynamic between me and my mom and my little brother is like, my little brother's the baby. So like, my mom would do anything and everything for him. So it was like, it made sense for him to call her and be like, yo, Mom, I'm being followed by the cops. I got pulled over, but I told him that you fell and that's why I was speeding or whatever. So he told her, I need you to be like on the floor in distress when we get there. So she was like, all right. Like, with no hesitation, she was like, all right. And when we got there, we told her to be on the floor in the living room, but she ended up being on the floor in the bathroom. and she had like her glasses sitting next to her. She was like crying. My little brother walked into the bathroom, and I started to laugh, but I'm like, no, I got to keep it together because we still got to get like more content. Right. So he gave her a hug, and she's crying. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm so hurt. Like, y'all gonna take me to the hospital talking about him and the cops. And then she got up, and she was like, where the cops? Like, she tried to whisper, like, where the cops? And then she looked at me, and I had my phone like up to my face, and then she was like, for like one of the first times she cursed on camera, she was like, is this an effing prank? And I was like, yeah. And then she like stopped crying, and she was like, yo, you turn the camera off. But yeah, that was like the basis of the video. Yeah, we do pranks to her all the time. She's just so funny. Like, she's naturally funny.
It's all in good faith, though.
No, for sure. Okay. Like, we didn't do nothing to her during Ramadan. Cause like she just wasn't going for it. She's like, I'm not going for that. And so he's like, all right, we got you.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I love that. And the fact that y'all have that good relationship with her, because it makes me think of how it, in Islam, it always talks about the one person that you're supposed to respect, is your mother.
4 times over.
Paradise lies at the feet of the mother.
Yeah, beneath the feet. A lot of people get that like confused. They say at the feet, but it's really beneath the feet. Yeah. In our religion, we go off like what's right.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Listen, yes.
I love that. So I also get that you do PD, like your own personal development.
Yeah.
Yes, come on, drop
you've been following for a while.
I pay attention to every, so I try to remember a lot of things, but what would you say is somebody that you listen to or a book that probably sticks with you?
In terms of like that stuff? It's called Teach Like a Champion. Okay. It's a book that's called Teach Like a Champion. And it's this other book, I forgot the name of it though, but it teaches you how to like regulate emotions in like the workspace. But I only do PDs for real on how to cultivate strong relationships amongst peers in the workspace. So me and Teacher Roby, that's something that we do together. We give PDs to other schools about how y'all should like work together and like build strong relationships. And I'm not saying like everybody got to get invited to everybody's wedding, but at the same time, leave the stuff for the most part outside of this place because we're here for the kids.
Right.
Like, we're not here for each other. We have these minds that we need to cultivate, and that's what we get paid to do, and we need to do it at a high level too. Yeah. Because who wants to send their kid to a school that's like not going to perform well?
Right.
Like, nobody wants that. Yeah. It just so happened that we do have some schools that do that, but nobody wants to really send their kid to a school where teachers don't like each other because, again, men make up less than 2% of the teacher workforce. So we got to understand like the natural and the reality of female emotions and things like that, and especially with the opposite of the people that look like us. Like, I don't know how they operate for real, but black women, like, I know for a fact you guys tap into your emotions in different ways, and nobody wants to feel like a kid is being slighted because this teacher don't like this teacher, or like the principal got favorites in terms of like who works harder and all this stuff. Like, no, let's all just figure it out, come to a common like space, and the kids will ultimately benefit because that's, again, who it's for.
I think that's important. And that's really, really dope that you guys do that and help to, cultivate other peers to be able to really see that and do that. Because like you said, it's not about us. It's about who we're working to, better develop and everything.
And like some of the tools that we try to give people is also stuff that they could use in their regular life, like in your relationship, and relationships with your family, and relationships with your friends. Like, if you have an issue with somebody, talk to them about it. Why are you going to harbor it or hold it in? How are you going to have somebody have that much like control over you? Like, you tripping. Like, if I don't like something, like, just address it right in the mirror so that way it doesn't continue to happen. You not saying nothing, it's going to continue to happen, and then you're going to build up animosity, then you're going to build up whatever it is. It's like, no. Do you like that feeling? Because evidently you don't. So do something about it. Just do something about it.
And it's going to show so much. Kids are so smart that if
Hell yeah.
They
gonna pick up on that. They gonna, just how like kids play their parents against each other. They'll play the principal against the teacher. They'll play the dean against the teacher. They know how to do that just naturally. So yeah, that's what we try to tell schools and like teachers in schools to like figure it out.
That is decent. This is amazing. Okay, so you got the summer league coming up soon,
Yeah,
right?
summer league opening night is June 9th. Y'all should come out. Y'all should see it. Yeah.
All right, we'll definitely be at the what is it? The P3 with
Jalil, the basketball game. Yeah.
So we'll definitely be there. But I wouldn't mind coming out there. I seen it last year, but I didn't know that you guys did it before. Yeah.
No, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that would be dope. Yeah. And that's something I could take my son to as well, too. So
absolutely.
Be able to experience
like, it's a bunch of people, all walks of life, come out there. We thank Allah for this every single day, that we haven't had no issues out there. We haven't had, like, no issues with, like, guns, none of that type of stuff.
That's good.
Like, when you mix a bunch of black people with, like, liquor and things like that, like, yeah, like, people get aggressive and stuff like that, but we haven't had nothing where as though like the city or anybody else wanted it to like get shut down.
Right.
So super duper grateful for Allah to like allow us to continue to like have our league with no issues. And because of that, we are having like a bunch of different people that want to get involved.
Yeah.
So inshallah, year 6, this will be year 6. Opening night is June 9th. We have just another great and successful summer.
Yeah, we there inshallah.
Yeah.
Inshallah, that'll be dope. In the men's lab, right?
Yeah, the men's lab is coming soon.
Are you going to be teaching them their love language?
I mean, maybe me and you could partner on that and figure that out.
Oh my goodness. You don't know. You don't know.
No, I know my love language.
Okay.
And I know like the love language is, but that would be like every grade band, like elementary, middle, and high school, is going to have like different things that we do.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be something I could partner with somebody to figure out.
Okay. All right, inshallah.
Yeah, and I'm super huge on like collaboration. I feel like at the top, people collaborate all the time. At the bottom, people trying to claw their way up and like figure out a way, but like no, you should want to collab at the bottom too.
Exactly.
Because that's how you ultimately get to the top.
Exactly.
Because half of the time, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Because the relationships that I've built with people are ultimately helping me get my content to different places. So it's like I want to work with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. The smallest person to the Breakfast Club to Complex. I want to work with everybody because you never know like what this interview could do for y'all or what this interview could do for me.
Exactly.
So I want to work with everybody.
I appreciate that you said that because it's funny. I've actually seen you a couple of times coming out of Jumu'ah before, and I wanted to like approach you, and I was like, I probably look crazy. Right. So, but that's just my thinking.
You had to call Lil.
Yes, I called him, and I knew he was away, so I was like, let me just go ahead and send the message and see. And you responded, and I appreciate that so much because me and Britt have always had the conversation where we reached out to other people before, right? And whether it be that they feel like we may not have the momentum, it's a money thing or whatever the situation may be. She's always said, and we've always talked about that what's for us will be for us,
oh
you
my
know?
God. Hell yeah.
At the end
like
of the
what's
day.
for me is for me. That's why I try to do my best to not trip about stuff. Like obviously because we like humans, like you be like, damn, that's nutty. But I've been like so in that space. That's why I feel like this is the best mental space that I've been in a while. What's for me is for me. Like Allah really don't make no mistakes. Like whatever door gets closed, He's going to open a bigger and better one. Like I just said, like when I told you I was working at a high school, I was like, damn, like I'm gonna probably be strapped for money. Like where's like what's happening? Allah was like, yo, calm down. Like chill out. Like you don't know what I'm about to do for you.
I know that.
And it's like, yo, if I didn't like move away from that job, I'd have never been able to like cultivate this relationship with Milo in his class. I'd have never been able to like ultimately like project myself to get like 100,000 followers on both my platforms and stuff like that. Calm down. Like Allah got you, gang. Like you gonna be all right. And that's so crazy that you said that. Like I'm all for that. Yeah. And I also am a firm advocate and believer that you should always engage with your supporters. Like, I was always going to respond to you. Like, it didn't matter when you DM me, I was going to respond to you. I read all my DMs. I read all my comments. Because you never know what you might miss.
That's decent.
Like, I almost missed an opportunity to work with Temu. Because I was like, this is like spam. And I'm like, I'm not going to respond to it. But no, they really wanted to work. And I mean, we didn't figure out numbers because I charged like the corporations, like what they would charge. I mean, what a white person would charge them. So like, y'all not going to play with me. But I respond and engage and view all my comments, everything. And I don't care. Like, when I hopefully, inshallah, I get to 1 million followers and stuff, I'm still going to be doing that. Because that's how I feel like you stay relevant. You stay
connected.
Yeah, connected. Like, your community is always going to want to engage with you if you engage back. Like, if people just follow you and then like you not saying nothing to them or you not doing nothing with them, they're going to be like, all right, I'm going to unfollow them and move on to the next person.
Right.
Like, no, I want my people to stay.
Come on. What? That should be a golden rule for a lot of y'all watching this.
Yeah.
And I tell all my homies all the time, like, yo, engage with those people. Like, I never, like, one of the people that I look up to, like, he's super younger than me, but like the young boy Castanet, like, whenever he's around, he's a streamer.
Okay.
Germany. But like, he's like,
okay.
He's the biggest streamer like in the world.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
One of them. And I've never seen him like turn away like a picture. I've never seen him turn away like an opportunity to engage with a fan.
Okay.
And I'm all for that. Like, I'm at a lower level where like people want to take pictures and stuff, and I'm never saying no. I'm never saying no, because you never know what that could do for a person. You never know how that could make somebody's day. I engage even with like negative comments sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, let's have this conversation. Oh, cool. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So, yeah, that definitely should be a golden rule. Yeah. Like, you should definitely engage with your followers and like people that support you, because you wouldn't be who you were without them.
That is true. That is true. A lot of people probably don't see it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Without these people, who would you be? You would just be you. No, I want to be what Allah got for me.
Come on.
All right, real quick though. When you said like this is the best mental state that you've been in, why is that?
Yeah.
Or like what is like the pieces around this whole like this is the best mental state?
So it's just really for me. For me, it's just like, again, like trusting in Allah and knowing that nothing moves or shakes without His will. Nothing. And again, I always, like, when I go through things, I'm like, why did I go through this? Like, I always ask myself that, but then I'm like, am I questioning the law? So that I'll be like, all right, let me stop. And then last year, like the entire 2024, I was depressed. Like, depressed. I lost like one of my closest homies. I lost an ex-wife to cancer. I went through a divorce. Like, and all of this stuff happened in like a 3-month span. And I'm like, yo, damn, like, what is going on? And one of the things that Allah made sure that I did, though, was stay close to my loved ones. Stay connected to them. And we really did a lot of soul searching together to make sure that everybody came out of this particular situation in one piece. And this year, I told myself that I'm going to have a much better year. I'm going to prioritize things that make me happy. Like I said, leaning on like my content, like that makes me happy. Putting out videos and all of the things that I went through in 2024, I always think about now. And that is one of the things that is making me like go as hard as I'm going. Like, I've dropped close to 100 videos since this year 2025 started. And I have to do that because I feel like now, because of like the people that I lost and all of the things that I went through, I owe it to that experience to always just keep going. Because at a point in time, yeah, I thought about not keep going. Yeah, I did. But I'm Muslim. Like I always hold that first. Like I'm Muslim. Like getting yourself out of here is like a major sin, dude. Like you don't do that. Like that's not for you to do. So it's like, how can I honor like that experience? How can I make sure I'm staying true to who I am as a Muslim? And like just honing in on those things is what is making me happy. Even like through like I still go through stuff, but I be like, yo, Allah is not taking nothing from me that I should not have. Like everything that he's taking from me, I shouldn't have.
Right.
And he's going to replace it with something that I should have. Right. And again, if he's closing this one door, he's going to open this particular door.
Right. And it's going to be much better.
Yeah. And I always like go with that mantra of he's not going to take nothing from me that he's not going to replace with something better. Yeah. I always go with that, whether it's like a female, whether it's a pair of sneakers, whether anything, a job. He's not taking this one thing from me and not giving me something better. Yeah. And again, I always like have to have the mindset that I might not get it tomorrow either. I might not get it in this lifetime. Right. Allah is not doing nothing that he didn't already say he was going to do.
Inshallah. I love that. I love that analogy, and that you even said that. And again, that you agreed to be here and share the space with us, and that you're being transparent.
No, absolutely.
Because this conversation
is super vulnerable.
Yes, yes. This conversation, it is always, whoever we have on, it's always needed, and it's always something, that somebody needs to hear. Yep. Even if it's us. Yeah. So we're super grateful. We super value you for even.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Just being here. And before we do close out, I want to ask, what is one thing that you would share with the audience? Something that maybe you know now that you didn't know when you were younger.
Have patience. Patience is key. Patience is key. When me and one of my best friends talk about this all the time, he always be like, yo, Corey, you talked about this. You talked about this. You said you was going to do this. You said you was going to do that. I always tell my homies, like, yo, we going to be famous. Like, we going to be rich. Like, we going to be well off. Like, we going to be good. And I've been telling them that for a while. And what I do enjoy a lot is being a vehicle for other people. Like I said, with like my mom and my little brother. Like my little brother now has over 10,000 followers on Instagram and stuff. And I'm not saying it's all my fault, but he has a lot of people that go to his page from mine. And I want the same thing for my homies. Like whenever I repost like a video that my homie is involved in, people see it that follow me. Like I love that, and that only happens when you have patience. Like just trust the process. Like put in the work, grind. Like really grind, and just don't think like it's going to be overnight or instantaneous success. It's not. Because when I was the dancing dean, I didn't have a lot of followers. Now I'm just Mr. Woodson. I have a lot of followers. Like things are going to happen when they're supposed to happen.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I love that. I really love
and what are you reading right now?
The Quran. But I'm not really a reader. But it's so crazy that you said that. I'm about to write a book.
Ooh. Okay, inshallah.
Yeah, I'm about to write a kid's book.
I'm not really a reader, but I'm about to write a book, y'all.
Yeah, I'm about to write a kid's book. And it's actually going to be about a young Muslim boy who falls asleep and he has a dream about him living the life that I'm currently living. So like going through like all of the stuff that I went through in like this one dream. Yeah. And I got that idea from like reading the Quran, because I don't know if people know, but the hadith on like how or why we pray 5 times a day. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was asleep and he ascended the 7 heavens, and we was about to have to pray 50 times a day. And he was talking to the other prophets, and they tell him go back up, ask for reductions, and Allah knows best. I don't want to like butcher it for people, but this is like the short version. Yeah. And we ultimately got to being able to pray 5 times a day, and we still get the benefit of praying 50 times a day. Mashallah. So having like that idea of like a dream and like something happens over like the course of that time. And I'm gonna write that book about that, and my kids actually are gonna be like the illustrators of it. So again, like I said, like everything that I do, I want my kids to benefit from.
Yes, make sure they get the royalties.
Right.
Legacy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's one of the things that's coming out too. I actually want to get that out relatively soon because I don't have a lot of stuff planned for Teacher Appreciation Week, but that's one of the things I'm gonna start during that week.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna look for that. Definitely support that, inshallah. And come
when
out
is Teachers Appreciation Week?
The first week of May.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And school about to be out
I think
soon.
Nurses Week is in May, ain't it?
I believe so, because you did something around that time before.
I'm so out the loop. I've been like in this bubble for the last like 2 or 3
Ain't nothing
months.
wrong with that.
It's not. I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. I ain't gonna hold you. But yeah, I gotta tap out, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate you for sharing this space with us.
Yes.
We value and thank y'all for tuning in for another conversation on Trap Talk Tuesdays, y'all.
Make sure y'all watch all the videos.
Period. Yes. And make sure y'all follow. What's your Instagram tag?
My Instagram is s.woodson with 2 N's. And on TikTok, it's just Woodson. But the @ name is Corwood. My name, part of my first name, part of my last name.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all follow him, support, and show love to the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure y'all like, follow, share, and subscribe, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, comment, follow, subscribe. Yeah.
There we go.
Love y'all. Peace out. Have an amazing day on purpose.
Peace, y'all.